there are a lot of knowledge to learn when it comes to football. For example, especially for young people, there are a lot of young people that have lost their self-confidence. But people see them still playing football, but they've already lost the confidence. Why? Because the coaches have yelled so much at them, the coaches abuse them, the coaches don't support them when they need to be supported, and so automatically they lose their self-confidence. And as a young player, when I was growing up as a young player, I know so many coaches that, if not all, but every time a player makes mistakes, the next thing the coach will do will not only abuse you, will abuse your mother, will abuse your father, will abuse your grandfather, your grandparents, and your generations. And we abuse them, said, your father and your mother is crazy. and we in Yoruba we say Oloshi, Konidavue, it will not be good for you, it will not be well for you. And these things is totally ignorant, and it's destroying players. And then you see players, they were so afraid not to make mistakes. And as a young player, let me tell you, if you don't make mistakes, then there is no room for improvement.
Amen.
Please, coach, say something to them.
No, seriously, it's reality.
I'm not so good in speaking like Prince are, but I totally agree with Prince. And football is, first of all, it's joy.
Wow.
You play football first of all because you love the game.
Wow.
And if people will start shouting at you and take away your self-confidence, they will stop playing football very soon. So the joy must also always have to be in every practice. But there's no contradiction between joy and effective and good training. You can still have joy and do the best training ever. So there's a lot of things to.
Yes, and there are also coaches that will tell their players, "Don't drink water. You're a lazy player." How can you play football and being hydrated? Is that possible?
No.
You are losing water. You need to fill in your body with water, because half of our body is water.
More.
Yes, you understand? So when we lose water, we need to regain water. And so when players begin to play without drinking water, and they drink water at the end of 2 hours, 3 hours training, he is prone to injuries.
Yes.
And these are it's not just lack of ignorance, but it's stupidity.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's stupidity. And if you're a coach involving in such stupidity, you better wake up from it. Because such coaches, we need to take you out from football. Such coaches are not supposed to handle youth. We're supposed to take them out totally from football. But this is why we will be starting a program like this to help. Because people need help. People need help. People need help. Showcasing talent hunt. Of course, in Nigeria, we've had so many talent hunt. We've had talent hunt at the end that will, because at the end they will give a player, the best 3 players will win one car each. Each gets a car, and these young players, they registered for this talent hunt, and maybe 15,000 people do a lot of registration, and then 3 people wins car each. So at the end of the day, plus and minus it results to business. Because for a football player, a young talent, his dream is not owning a car.
No, exactly. No.
His dream is to what?
To
Achieve.
play in big arenas. Yeah.
Play.
And see, for the best players,
Yes.
they are the ones who wants to see how good can I become? how high up can I be playing? They have this inner force to become as good as they can be.
Yes. I know a talent. I know a talent. I will not say his name. Some years ago, Bright, you know him very well. Who won? Was it Cowbell or MTN? MTN or other, whatever. Yes, or yeah. Pardon me to. I didn't want to mention names anyway. He won a talent. He was one of those selected players in the talent hunt, and they gave him a car. Eventually, uses the car for 2 months.
For what?
But he didn't. For 2 months, he didn't have money to fill up the car with gas.
No.
The car brought more expenses to him. More expenses to him because he had to look for money to put gas. And then eventually he was advised to sell it.
Yeah.
He sold it and then the value has, yes, he lost the value. But still, this boy, I know him and I've seen him, is still in Nigeria after 80 years.
Wow.
Still in Nigeria after 8 years. So, oh my goodness. You know, there's so much to do in this country, but I hope God will help us to guide us. So we really want to make it different. We really want to make different. And like I said, and we are saying it, the major part that has to be focused on is grassroots. Look, Nigerians are running away from it. Officials are running away from it. The rich runs away from it. The poor runs. The ordinary, the average people run away from it. People that are going into football businesses, everybody is running away from it. Everybody talks about if you receive a phone call today, everybody tells you about a talent or a player that plays for one professional team and that 18 years player, 19 years player, 17 years player that is good. Nobody tells you, I saw a 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years good player. Everybody runs away from it, but you know what? You can hide from the future, run away from the future, but you know what? The future is coming to get you.
Hallelujah, somebody. This is prophecy.
It's coming to get you.
Yeah.
What you just said now is what I was
That's the
about-
reality.
it's what I was about to say. You know, like in the group I told you about I was in, you know, I told most of the scouts and the agents in the group, I told them, why is it that everybody are running away from these people? You come in a group and you say you're looking for a player that has transfer market
Thank
and
you.
good video. Those people that has the transfer market and video, they started somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
Why not go for those people that doesn't have those things? Most of these guys that doesn't have this transfer market and video, they play more than those people that has transfer market.
Because once
Why
a
everybody
professional was
running
once
away
an
from-
amateur.
Why everybody running away from these people? So the thing is somehow, I was about saying it. Somehow.
Yeah. And the grassroots also too, what a wonderful friend for me. Because Stefan is a friend. I don't play with him, I don't joke with him, and I of course our relationship has been built over the years, and I can give myself for him because I have seen his heart. I know he's thinking for humanity. We sit down, we talk, and I can share his heart. And I've spoken to so many coaches, I've spoken to a lot of people, but sometimes when I see people's heart, I stop or I don't prolong the relationship any longer. And the reason why I've prolonged my relationship with him and I'm ready to go extra mile is because he's not just a coach, but he has passion to develop people. And developing humanity is one of the best parts. That you can make success, but at the same time, you build humans. And when we talk about grassroots, we have stages of grassroots. We have stages of grassroots. And what we are also trying to let the people not to get their mind off also is the stage of grassroots, of basic grassroots. beginners grassroots. I went to government school, and the reason I was able to play football every day, I was involved in handball, I was playing table tennis, and I was very good in these three sports. I did represent Nigeria in the under 13. I was playing table tennis for my school, and eventually I decided to settle down with football. But the reason I was involved in sports was because I went to government school. Government school, what separates government school from private schools now today is that the government schools have been, parents are no longer sending their children to government schools. So the private schools has overtaken the government schools, and private schools have no facilities, sports facilities. Sometimes if they want to do physical education, they have to do it maybe once or 2 times in 2 months, and they have to hire or take them out to go and do physical education. So, which means the regular basic football that we play on our break time, we come out and we just play. We didn't have we just play. We didn't have instructions, and we have school teams, but we just play. And because sometimes football, where you improve your techniques, is sometimes those times that you just play too. So those things growing up from 5 years, 6 years is no longer existing. That's why you see today, you see a 16 years football player, his quality is bad. It's bad. You hardly find raw talent. You have to go to places, you have to organize tournaments, teams will come, 50 teams will come, and then you discover only 2. When we were growing up, we have quality players, talent everywhere. Because everybody, every day, people were involved in football, in schools, in school teams. When they come back from school teams, they have their clubs, you see. So the more you play, the better you become.
Exactly. We have in Sweden or in Europe been talking for many years now that you need 10,000 of hours of football during your education to be able to be close to your top performance.
Wow.
But now we're also talking about might not be it might be even more. Might be even more. So therefore you need to play 2 or 3 hours in the street or with your friends during this school break and things like that. So I would say at least 10,000 hours. You need that in your body.
That's serious.
Like what Coach said, it's been also discovered that also players, young players, every young players need for a season needs about 2,400 and something minutes to be used for a young player to develop his quality. And a young player that doesn't have playing time wouldn't be able to develop. So 2,000, you can imagine, even the players that are in clubs, young players, 2,400 and more minutes for a season.
I think you missed something. You missed the line. Maybe I should remind you. I remember those days, secondary school days. If you have good player in your school, because I know your school then you have good players. You guys were talented. You did all sports. Handball, as mentioned by you, handball, table tennis, football. If you are good in another school, they will tell you come to Simply. They will tell you come. We don't want to pass you. We will move you from this class to another
scholarship.
class. We'll give you.
They give you scholarship.
Just come and play for us. That's where you will see maybe the physical education person or teacher, as we used to call them.
Yes. Game master.
Or game master. Yeah, game master. Yes.
We call them then.
That's what we call them then. Game master. We go to other schools, scouting for good players to come to his own school. That was how we got
He's talking about history.
Players in their own time.
He knows me very well.
In their own
I was
school.
supposed to go to Oluwa Secondary School, but I was scouted to a Jeremy Feludo High School. and the rest of my set were transferred to another school, and 3 of us, a girl and me and a guy called Ndubisi Chukwunyere, who is a coach now in Malta, ended his career in Malta, we were scouted. 3 of us, we were transferred to Jeremy Felodu High School because of our sport talent.
Yeah.
That scholarship.
Yeah,
Exactly. I discussed like last week, to be precise. I was talking with a young boy, a friend of is a son to my friend. I asked him, "Oh boy, you are very tall now. Look at you. Do you play football?" He said yes. You play in your school? Are you in your school team? He said yes. Do you people participate in this principal cup?
Oh, there's no more principal cup in
Hold on.
Nigeria.
Do you participate in principal cup? Do you?
We bring the cup.
I asked him. Do you
What
go
was
for
I didn't understand.
Principal Cup was a school
That's
competition.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it was
the
named Principal Cup. There's some
Secondary
rector's school.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I asked the young man, I said, boy, he said no, their school, they don't go for such competition because they are afraid of, I said,
Wow.
afraid of what? The fight? That's the passion. That's what it is. That's the passion.
Why would it be?
Guy,
Everybody they run from
you are not talking about cricket. That
When
means
you
you are
get
not-
that's what you experience.
I'm talking about first time, FSA. This
I know everything, yeah.
You understand? I asked this okay now, I asked this boy. He said your school don't go for this competition. Why? Okay, let me give I told him something. I said, okay, calm down, let me tell you something. If you know your school, those days, if your school is good, you know, you can win your opponent. Just go there, don't win them. Because if you win them, they will beat you. If you win them,
You're right.
they will beat you. So, no need. So, the best thing, your school is not helping you guys. Just go there because you don't know people that are watching you. Because right there, people come from far and wide to come and watch young talents.
See the reality.
There.
That's what we call
I'm
reality.
telling you.
It's not something they tell you. It's something you see with your eyes.
I'm telling you. But if you come to that scholarship of a thing, I remember vividly, very well, that if you are a good player, somebody will come and scout you out from the school. Before you know, you see with another school uniform. Which time?
Machinery.
Which time? Okay, I'm coming to machinery. Which time? Let me and you enter just one. Which time?
He joined the
When
school.
did this guy join United Christian? You understand? That leads me to the word now, machinery, because we know United Christian to be, you know, they like bringing
morals.
because you know we don't know them.
They
We
are
don't know them because they were not in same complex with other schools.
Yeah.
They were in a papa.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of machinery. So
Now you don't know them. You understand? It's not like every other school whereby